Hi everyone, I'm JP Thong and welcome to today's day 3 of How Your Mind Works. So, on Wednesday we had a great session to talk about stilling the mind and all that. So before I continue, I'd like to welcome today's virtual audience. We have Ion. Hi Ion. We have Dr. Hank. We have Raj Kumar, Jesse from the UK, Kok Luen, Victoria, and Lily from the UK as well. Is everyone here? Have I missed everyone is here? Okay, great. So let's see who has logged in to today's Facebook. We have Agnes. Hi, Agnes. Agnes is all the way in Bangkok. Hi, Polly. Hi, Pasik Gim Lee. Okay, so now today's topic, I'm very excited because I'm going to go deeper into how the mind works. So anytime when you do have a question, if you are in the virtual audience, just you know what to do. And if you're just watching us from Facebook, by all means type your questions at the comment section. Okay? Sawadee from Bangkok. Hi Yiling. Yiling is all the way from New York. Janelle, Pastor Shin, and Sharon. Okay, so let's continue here. So last week, remember I was telling you guys about our mind. Okay, so I'm just going to go through what I spoke about. So this is your mind, and the mud here is all our distractions. Distractions are things like what we occupy ourselves with on a daily basis, be it your work, be it your relationship, your hobbies, your lunch, your dinner, whatever it is that we occupy ourselves with. So every time, see, to the untrained mind, remember I was saying, when we have all these distractions, what it does to our mind is this. Okay, so you're rushing from one appointment to the other, you're going to cook, you're going to make a call, you're going to have tea with your friends, you're going to hang out, you're going to have a drink. All these are things that are actually doing this to your mind if you're not trained, And hence, when you want to say, hey, what's happening? There's a bit of a struggle because you're trying to look through your mind and it's really not very clear and it's actually quite murky. Okay, so that's what I spoke about, and that's why many people struggle with especially right now with the current lockdown. So what we're trying to achieve is this. Okay, so yes, we still have our distractions. Okay, we're not going to judge whether they're good or not, but distractions are distractions. All right, so how to train the mind to actually have the residue subside so that at least we have some sort of clarity. At least you can see my finger here. Okay, but if you look closer, it's still a little bit cloudy. It's not so pure where I can drink it. Okay, but I think it's good enough for our level. It's good enough. Okay, and then for some who would like to go even deeper, we can even examine the different things that are in your mind. Okay, so whatever they are, so there are methods that you can actually go deep into your mind and see what exactly it is that you are holding on to. Okay, for all these decades, and then once you have a good look at every single sediment in your mind, then you can make a decision again whether or not you want to keep it or you want to let it go. Okay, the letting go process is not just, shelving it in your mind, because whatever that you try to shelve in your mind, it's just going to go right down here. Okay, it will fester and it will just grow because it will decompose and it will grow And you'll grow and you'll grow and you'll grow and you'll grow. And that's what happens. So when we truly want to let go of something, first of all, we have to understand what it is that we would like to let go. And it's a very natural process, very natural process. Okay. So, but for that to happen, we need to study deeper about how the mind works. Okay. So today I'm going to touch on it. Any questions so far? Yes, Cochrane.
JP, I think instead of, or maybe in addition to what you've mentioned about
Yeah.
looking at the mud and all the sediments, the other thing we probably should be mindful of is not to add more mud to the glass of water, just add more mud to our mind.
Oh,
Uh,
yes, that is very true. That is very, which is the next step. But first of all, we have to identify what's going on in our mind. You see, a lot of times we say, "Oh yeah, I will let go of this past experience," and which you have touched a very good point, Cochran. Because why? If we don't realize about something which I'm going to talk about today, and that is perception. Perception here is very, very important because if we do not correct our perception, you will keep adding to your mud. You keep adding because why? Because we've been wired, we've been programmed to
that's the thing.
always react a certain way. So that's what I'm going to talk about. So you're ahead of me, Cochran. Wonderful.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
which is what I'm going to talk about. All right. See, a lot of times when we do whatever it is that you want to do, go on a vacation, do a little bit of meditation, breathing meditation, or you want to do gardening and all that. Yes, that actually calms your mind and gives you the clarity. That's a very, very good start. But like what Cochrane says, how about, see, after we have cleared whatever we need to clear, all that emotional baggage, how do we make sure that we don't keep adding on? You see, because our mind has been programmed to operate a certain way. So if we are happy with how our program is been working, then we keep those. But for certain things that we feel that we realize that, not that great, then we would like to rewrite the program. Now that's just going to take a little bit of effort. Okay, so last week I spoke about how, according to science, when we do simple breathing meditation, it actually strengthens certain parts of your neurons in your brain. Okay, this is something that's physical. Okay, it will strengthen that part of the brain, and that part of the brain will make it easier for us to be, for example, more positive, more grounded, more compassionate. It will actually even lower our blood pressure. Okay, again, I'm not saying that you should not take your medication. If you're on medication, continue to take it, but do a little bit of meditation because that will actually enhance it. Okay, so because physically your brain, it's like going to the gym. Every time when you lift that weight, your muscle mass is going to increase. So for meditation, according to the scientists, they notice that certain parts of your brain actually becomes strengthened, and the activity at a certain part of the brain they notice that is actually more active. And because when we do the meditation consistently over a period of time, it was said that based on their statistics, if you meditate for like 5, 10, even 15 minutes on a daily basis for 6 weeks, they actually started noticing a difference in your brain. Okay, and it's a good thing. Okay, so that's just scratching the surface of it. So now I touched about perception 2 days ago. Okay, I said that our perception is always tainted by our past experiences. Now that is just one of the example. Because why? Because we are constantly programming, imputing things into our brain, into our mind, constantly, whether we are conscious of it or not. But we're constantly imputing through our senses, our five senses. All right. So And that's how the brain works, because once you are imputing or doing the same thing over and over and over again, let's say you're going to work every day, you're doing this every day, whatever scope of work it is that you do on a daily basis. It can be cooking every day. Again, whatever it is that you do consistently every day, you're actually writing a program already. You're writing a program in your mind. And then after a while, you become so good at it that you can actually do whatever chores you have with both eyes closed, because that's where the brain just takes over and you're on automatic mode. See, that's how the mind works. Okay. And a lot of times when we're so automatic, even, a lot of times like our facial expression, we don't even realize it I mean, like me, I don't have a poker face. If I don't like something, I'll be like, hmm. And my friends were like, so what, what is it that you don't like? See, so I don't have that poker face. So I'm learning to have the poker face where I go, okay. So see, so when we're mindful, then we're able to see what's happening even on the facial expression. All right, or maybe with our body expression, how we express ourselves, whether we like something or we don't like something, it will be expressed one way or another. And that is why people who are very mindful, they can pick up certain body language, and you can kind of suss them out, just to notice what it is that they're really thinking about. Okay, and I think a lot of us are pretty good at that, and that's where the EQ is. Okay, it's because people with higher EQ are actually more mindful, more sensitive to the people whom they're with, and they just pick up little body language, bits and pieces. Yeah, and that's how it works. So it's nothing supernatural. It's just that your senses are more acute. Okay, so tainted perception. So past experience can taint our perception. Like I said 2 days ago, because we like to always refer to what we have experienced. Okay, where does it refer? So let's say you meet this person and this person's behavior or even physically reminds you of a person whom you've met 10 years ago. And you go, wasn't, this person reminds me, of this behavior, of which wasn't very nice to me. So I think I better be careful. So again, I already form a judgment. Okay, that's how our mind is trained. But see, a lot of times we don't realize that, well, wait a minute. Although this person's behavior or the looks may look similar to a person in the past, it doesn't necessarily mean that this person is going to do the same thing to you compared to what the other person did 10 years ago. You see? But because we are so fearful that we're going to be hurt, or whatever it is that this person has done to you, we're so fearful. Or it can be the opposite. Your past relationship, somebody whom you liked a lot, and you meet somebody who is similar, you go, oh, wow. So again, not necessarily. So, which is what I spoke about, the power of the now. Remember that? The power of the now. So how how some people misunderstand what the power of the now truly is. So when we give the person the opportunity, this is a new person, different conditions, different time, the results would most likely be different. Okay, so that is a tainted perception, because why? We are actually holding on to the past and looking at that and perceiving that person based on the past. That is why that's actually one of the elements that is contributing to that little bit of cloudiness that we see in this water. It's clear, but it's a little bit tainted. Okay, there are many other examples of what can taint our perception. Do you guys have any idea? Want to give it a try? No? Okay. Another example of how our perception can be tainted is not having enough knowledge. Not having enough knowledge. For example, and I hear this all the time, okay? I hear this all the time, and I even used to question all the time. When people hurt you, okay, there's some people who hurt you, but they may say very nasty things in front of you or behind you. They are just not nice to you for some reason. They're not nice. Okay? And people find it very difficult to let go. Very, very difficult to let go. And we always say, why? Well, there are many things that go through the mind. Why me? Or why is the person treating me like this? What did I do to deserve it? And so on and so forth. Is it my astrology that we don't match? Is it the feng shui? Um, what is it? Why is this person behaving the way the person is? It can be an act of irresponsibility, not sensitive to you, never say thank you whenever you do something, or whatever it is that you disagree with, that you're upset about. Now, when we actually take a step back and look at it from a scientific or a psychological point of view and psychoanalyze this person, and then we take it and then we say, okay, so what's up? What's up? Okay, so you take a step back and you look again. Now, when we take the time to study about how the mind works, then you realize that age does not equate to maturity, does not equate to wisdom. Does that make sense? Our age does not necessarily equate to our maturity, nor does it necessarily equate to a level of wisdom. So although this person can be 50, 60, 70 years old, but this person may not be as responsible as we would like them to be, or may not be as tactful as we would like them to be, or whatever it is that you're not okay with. So that's knowledge. So there's no why that is, well, that's the way the person is. That's the way the person is. Okay, so when we study more and when we self-examine even ourselves, we may think we are very mature. We have common sense. You see, even I realize this. Common sense is very subjective, right? How many times have we met somebody go, "Why don't you use your common sense?" And my teacher always tells me, "JP, you're the one that doesn't have the common sense." How it's very subjective. Common sense to me, it's different from a common sense to you, to you, to you. All of us, we have our own version of common sense. So we cannot use that anymore. We cannot. Okay, you see? So I have just projected my version of common sense to this person, and that is nonsensical, ultimately. Nonsensical. Okay, so now that I've realized this, so I go, okay, so there is no common sense. But so well, let's see what's up with this person. So with knowledge about when we have more knowledge of how the mind works, we become more forgiving and we become more accepting. See, it is natural. It's not like, okay, I'm just going to turn my head around and just forget you and I'm just going to let go. So that is artificial. If that can temporarily calm your mind so that you're not so worked out emotionally, great. But ultimately, if we really want to, like what Copeland say, not add more, because why? A similar person can come and do the same thing, and and then we just keep adding more sediments and mud into our mind. So it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Make sense? So far, so good, everyone? Okay, so knowledge is something, lack of knowledge is something that will taint our perception. Lack of knowledge. Do you guys do you guys want to guess what's the next one?
I guess next one will be wisdom, experience.
Yes, true. Wisdom. Yes, lack of wisdom. Lack of wisdom. Okay, so wisdom can only arise when we make the effort to or be open to learning what's out there, and then we practice it. We practice it. For people who meditate, they don't even have to experience it per se. In their mind, when they do the contemplative meditation, they can already, it's like playing a movie in your mind, and you can just live it in your mind. And that's why contemplative meditation is very, very powerful. There are many things that you can do without, there are many things that you can realize, sorry, that you can just fast forward without having to experience it. Because why? Life is short. There's so many things that we would like to experience, but you know what? Um, then it will stop you. That you see, then, but there is a faster method. That's what I'm saying. There's a faster method by just fast forwarding it in your mind, and then you go, okay. So you gain a realization as a result. So you don't have to physically live it. You just have to fast forward in your mind. There is a method of doing that, and you realize, okay, I guess I don't. Hmm, I guess that's not what I want. Okay, and that's how hermits do it. People who go into deep meditation, that's how they do it. They don't have to go out into the real world, but they kind of figure it out. Okay, so wisdom. Any more?
I've got a question, JP.
Yes.
What's the fundamental difference between a contemplative meditation and a single pointed? Can a person, following question would be, can a person start off with contemplative meditation and then go to single pointed?
You can, but it'll be a bit of a struggle. Okay. Now, you have been meditating with me since the start of MCO. So if you notice, well, let me explain what the two differences are. One is you focus on one thing. Single pointed is literally single pointed. You can focus on your breath. You can focus on the phone in front of you, the pen, a candle. You can focus on like Ion. Ion plays an app. So it's a guided meditation. So you can focus on that. You can focus on sound. Remember our sound bathing session?
Yeah, the
You can
singing.
focus on that. That's single pointed. Now the benefits of single pointed meditation is to train the mind or to train ourselves to have more control of the mind. Because when we sit still, you don't have to be in lotus position. Remember, you can just sit like this in your couch. Just don't lean back. Just sit up straight at the edge of your chair and just sit up straight and just breathe and just focus. You will notice that your mind starts to wander. You'll be having thoughts. You'll be having um, emotions, bouts of emotions coming out. You'll be having itch here and there. You'll be having aches all of a sudden. Remember all that? So, and like I said, these are all withdrawal syndromes. Your mind is having a withdrawal syndrome. Your body is having a withdrawal syndrome because why? We're not used to sitting here not doing anything. We're not used to it. So the body and mind are programmed to be constantly doing something. Constantly. Some people can just say, no, I'm a couch potato. I just sit on my couch. I don't do anything. Not true. Because your mind is wondering something. You're on the phone, you're watching TV, you're munching on something, and so on and so forth. So you are active elsewhere. So we're not used to just sitting here and not doing anything. So the exercise of pulling your attention away from these distractions and just go back to the breath. Okay, so my method that we teach or the method that we teach in Kechara is just notice the breath around the nostril area as you breathe in and out. That's it. Very simple, but yet very challenging, right? So, so, but when you practice it, remember we start with 5 minutes, and then every week we went on to 10 minutes. So we added 5 minutes per week. Then the 5 minutes became easier after 1 week, and then when we went to 10 minutes, the first few days were a bit of a struggle, and then it became okay. So the body and the mind takes time to readjust to the withdrawal syndrome, and then you start and then because you're doing it every day, you're slowly writing your new program again, slowly but sure. That's why consistency is the key. and and it's not okay. So since I don't meditate 5 minutes every day, then on Sunday I'm just going to do, let me see, Monday, Tuesday, so six times five. Okay, so I will do 30 minutes to catch up. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So every day, consistently for 5 minutes, it's a very good start. Okay, so that's single pointed. So, and remember, we have questions that, oh, today was not good because I have so many thoughts arising. I was itching all over. I couldn't sit still, JP. I'm having ache. I had a really bad meditation session. I said, no, it's wonderful. Because why? You're having this massive, what do you call it, detox. Your body and your mind are fighting with you. So every time when you bring your attention back to your nostril, you won. So when you do it often enough, you're actually strengthening your control, and that's very, very good. Because when you're out in the real world, when you're out of this room, attending to your daily affairs, and you want to focus on something that needs to be done on that day, because you've been practicing to shift your focus to your breath. Now you shift your focus to your task at hand, and it becomes effortless, right? It becomes effortless because why? You've been going to the gym for your mind by meditating. Does that make sense? So
Yep.
that's what single pointed meditation actually helps. So, and also when we become very good at it, when you want to focus on a task, whatever task it is that you want to focus on, it'll be very easy. And when things are falling apart at work, at home and all that, you can just take a breath. You can just ground yourself by just breathing slowly, just normally, like what we did. And you can just ground yourself within seconds because you've been doing it every day. So in the midst of the chaos, you still find that glimpse of peace. And it's all under control. You don't have to just say, time out, family. I'm just going to go to wherever, to the beach, and kind of chill because I can't take this anymore. You don't need to. You can just chill with all this thing in front of you, this chaos. You can just chill just like that. And you turn around and go, okay, so let's start again. That's how wonderful it is when we know how to control the mind. It's very profound. It's so beneficial. That's single pointed. Now you are asking what is contemplative. Contemplative meditation is, now once you're very good at focusing, okay, at little things. Now you can focus on, for example, I will talk about, okay, let's all meditate about forgiving. Forgiving, wow, it's a big one. Most people find it very difficult to forgive. The biggest thing to forgive is yourself. That's the big thing. Okay? So, if we do not practice control of the mind, once you touch on these very sensitive, to some people, very sensitive aspects of the mind, a lot of emotions come up. And when a lot of emotions come up, and when you're not trained to go, okay, watch your emotion, because in single pointed meditation, remember, whatever emotions or thoughts arise, you just watch it and go back to your breath. So if you have not trained yourself to do that, you will be so caught up in your emotion, it may not serve you in your contemplative meditation. Does it make sense? Then you'd be like, I can't do this, JP. I can't do this anymore. I'm remembering things that I don't want to remember, and I don't know. It's making the situation worse. I thought contemplating meditation is supposed to give me peace, and and all that, the calm. It's not. It will eventually. It will, but it addresses. So what contemplative medicine does is it allows you to revisit things like forgiveness and how that applies to you. Which part of your life are you forgiving or not forgiving? And you look at that thing from all angles, from all angles. Okay, which I will give you a little bit of tools to look at it. So when you look at it from different angles, that's where you start to realize, why is it that you're so forgiving, or why is it that you're not so forgiving, or why is it you're selective with your forgiving, or some of you may even realize you thought you were forgiving, but you realize actually you're not that forgiving, and you will realize why. So without a good grasp, or without good control of the mind, we may be, we may lose track. We may be too caught up in our emotions, because you really need to just step back and look in your mind like you're watching a movie. As you revisit that, you'll be watching it, and there's certain things that are pretty raw that we have shelved so deep, so deep, that when you open it, it's like a Pandora's box. All hell is going to break loose. Okay, so if you guys are out there and I'm here, and when you have this meltdown, I'm not going to be able to help you. All right,
So
so
JP,
yeah, yes.
we need to have a good grasp of on single pointed meditation before we can embark on contemplative meditation.
Well, it depends on what you are meditating on. If I say, okay, let's meditate on love, I think love is pretty good.
Uh,
Unless
all the
unless
positive stuff, yeah.
unless the word love, for some reason, opens up some kind of a deep wound. Okay, so case to case. So I would advise to do single pointed. Is even single pointed was so challenging, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you see, so once I get into the things that, once I start going deep into your mind, you're gonna have a field day of emotions. Field day.
Like a volcano going to erupt.
For some people. And for some people will go, oh wow, that was wonderful. Oh, okay, I understand more about love. I understand more about me. Different experience for different people.
Mm.
Okay, but it's exciting because why? When we understand our mind better, and we're able to kind of understand what every sediment is about, then we can make a choice again to kind of take it away. And once we take it away, because we've gained a certain realization, it will never go back in again. And that's the good news. So your water, so what you're doing is, so you see, that's why a lot of times, all with all this meditation, we talk about, it's where we are doing is a spiritual detox. What is the spiritual detox all about? It's about clearing all this from your mind. That's the spirit in us. That's what we need to detox. And when we detox the mind, it will manifest to our physical body. And that's where whatever aches and pains we used to have, for some of us who have headache, high blood pressure, you know, shoulder ache and all that, that will slowly go away. Because why? You're not as tense, perhaps. You're not as stressed, perhaps. And whatever it is that is manifesting physically. It's all interrelated, all interrelated. And many doctors always say that. Remember, I was saying when I was having my high blood pressure, immediately my doctor asked me, "Are you under a lot of stress?" I said, "No, I wish I was, then I'll know what to do." But I was not. I was not. So even the doctors tell us that. Okay. So any questions so far?
No.
Sharon, that is so true. Age doesn't equate to maturity. Do you think that maturity comes with spirituality? Maturity comes with spirituality. It depends. If we truly practice our spiritual path, whatever it may be, you see, spirituality doesn't necessarily mean that you're very religious. You're very, very religious. It's not necessary. The essence of all religion is to guide us to be more kind, more compassionate, more selfless, more open, more accepting. That's the essence. Okay, so some are God-based, some are karma-based. All right, so either it all it the common message is about being how to be a better person, how to be more evolved in that sense. Not oh, if you don't subscribe to my religion, then you go to hell. That to me it doesn't make sense because I don't need you to teach me to be more fixated and to be more narrow. I'm already that. I don't need something to reinforce that. I would like somebody to kind of like open up my mind a bit and be wiser and be more accepting. Does that make sense? And because of that, because we're more accepting, our mind is more malleable, we're more loving, more caring, we're more selfless. Selfless as in, I'm just going to help others unconditionally. I don't need you to thank me. I don't need you to, to give me a lot of attention. I don't need that. Because why? Because, hey, the true nature of our mind is selfless. We are naturally very giving. It's just that we have been trained in our culture, at home, whatever it is, to always look out for yourself and your extended family. See, your your family is an extension of yourself because it's your family. So there is an extension. Why do I keep saying that? It's because people say, "Hey, JP, I'm very selfless. Do you know what I do for my children? Do you know what I do for my spouse? I will give my life to them." Wonderful. It doesn't mean you are selfless. It just means that you are very attached to them. That's it. And you do anything for them. Nothing wrong, but they just didn't understand what selfless means. Selfless means you do whatever to benefit the person, to benefit. Okay, and you don't need to know the person, you don't need anything from the person. You do your best to benefit, to bring benefit to that person. That's being selfless, and that is what makes a person holy. Think about it. A person is holy not because they talk about where they're going to eat, oh, what they don't like and all that. It's not that. That's the holy is because no matter how you treat them, they will still find ways to bring some light, some hope, and some love into your life. And that defines what, and that is what make them holy. So it's the action, not so much the talking. Okay, so see, so that is why for if you, I'm sure most of you would have done something that benefited certain people. It can be just being there for a friend, being there for maybe a homeless person who just wanted, whatever it is that you've done unconditionally, without, yeah, unconditionally, think about it. How did you feel? How did you feel? Did you feel good? Did you feel fulfilled?
Feel very much lighter.
Much lighter, right?
Mhm.
It's because you're operating from your natural state of mind. You're operating from your natural state of mind. That's why it's very natural. Very, very natural. When we do things that are not natural, it will be, what's the opposite of selfless? Selfish. For the self. For the self. So then people will say, well, what are you asking me to quit my job? I'm not saying that. Are you asking me to leave my family? No, it's not that. When we realize this, when we realize this, that yes, they are an extension of the me, or yes, because like I said, it's easier to love your family, your relatives, your good friends, people whom you know. It's some people find it more difficult to love unconditionally people whom you do not know. So it takes baby steps. So when you are selfless and when you want to be very giving, yes, that is your intention. That will be your motivation, which is what I spoke about in my meditation class. Always set an intention, because when your intention is very clear in your life, then everything else will just fall in place and you will not go askew. You will not be doing this, that. Whatever you do, it will go back to address to your intention, to your intention. Okay, so whatever your intention may be, and then from there you work backwards. So if my intention for this year is this, that is what I'm going to do on a daily basis to actually create that intention. Intention can be something that it is usually something that's very intangible. I'm going to make sure that, you know what, I'm going to do an act of selflessness today. That's my intention. Because why? Because my intention is to operate from selflessness, which is my true nature, 24/7. But I'm going to take baby steps. What's a baby step? I will make sure, no matter how inconvenient it is, or be it somebody whom I just, you know, overlook. It can be somebody like my security guard downstairs in my condominium, that I always say hi, bye, and that's it. I never even, show them appreciation. Perhaps it will be good because why? They have left their family to earn money so that we can be safe in our apartment. And they've made a lot of sacrifices because they have no choice. They don't have that financial freedom to say, nah, I'd rather be with my family. So even giving them something as a gesture of thanks, perhaps. So that is a good start. And sometimes being generous doesn't have necessarily have to be dollars and cents. So again, what I'm saying is, well, you can still do your work, but you see, but your work is not about, okay, so my intention is to make $1 million, and then after that, that's my intention and that's my goal. Because if that is, well, that doesn't equate to the fulfillment that you're looking for, that peace and happiness and joy that you're looking for. That is just a method to achieve. That's just a method towards something. Okay, so that's why when we have a higher intention, everything else will fall in place. So be it your relationship will fall in place, your career will fall in place, because why? All this is to support your intention. Okay, so um, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's see who's next. JP, okay, Kirsten, can a person with low IQ or low EQ be mature in thinking? Hmm. Okay. Sharon. Let's go back to Kirsten, please. Okay, so can, well, it'll be more challenging. Yes, they can. It'll be more challenging. They have to put in more um, more effort to realize. See, maturity again is very, very subjective. Very, very subjective. All right? It's very subjective because different people come from different culture, different mindset, different background, different upbringing. All that is different. So maturity would most likely be how how sensitive you are to others. Um, are you being very childish? Are you being very irresponsible? And so on and so forth. So it's very, very subjective. Okay, to you, you may think you're very mature, but because you don't know another person's culture, they may think, oh my, why are you so childish the way you act? Why are you so unpolished? But you see, in your culture, you are very mature with your ways. But in a different culture, it may be different because you don't know the social dynamics. Okay? To quote you an example, because I think all of you are like looking at me like, what are you talking about? See, because I grew up in the States and I I studied in New York. And New Yorkers are very blunt and very straight to the point. Okay? And they just don't take nonsense. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ion, because Ion is from New York too, right? So whatever it is, like, don't give me the F, all right? So I was used to that, and New Yorkers don't like superficial people. You're like, if you don't like it, you just tell them to your face you don't like it. If you don't have what it takes, you tell the person you don't have what it takes. You're not going to sugarcoat. See, that's the culture that I was used to. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but that was the environment I was used to. Then when I came back to Malaysia, um, it was a culture shock for me. And so when I joined Kechara, and my teacher, Tem Rinpoche, told me, wow, you're really very direct to a point that it is very rude here. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, really? Because that was not my intention. Because I'll just tell someone to your face, whatever. And Rinpoche would say, not everybody can take your directness. Oh, yeah, yes, I know your intention is good, but the way you say it, it's just to your detriment. And it's like, but I thought you were Asian. What happened? Because Asians are not confrontational. Asians although Asians will never tell somebody to the face what they don't like. They just say, oh, okay, that's very nice, polite. See, so some people will say, oh, see, JP is so blunt, so immature, so childish. How can he be so rude and childish? And he graduated from a university. Are you sure? So you see, so again, maturity, cousin, is really subjective. Okay, very, very subjective. I would look into more of responsibility. You know, is a person very, more responsible, more sensitive? Responsible is like sensitive to others' needs, more caring, more kind. I think these values, which is natural to us, I think that is something that I would look more into. Okay, because a person can be very wise and can behave in a very childish manner, very wise, but very childish, which is fine because why? Because they don't have any inhibitions. They just be themselves. That's how they are. But the childlike is not because they're naive. It's because they are very comfortable with it with themselves. They're operating from their true self. My teacher can be very childlike. Can be very, very childlike. Childlike, but it's full of wisdom. Okay, he may just jump out of the corner and go woo like that. And you go, oh my god, what's that about? or they'll come and just tickle you. So you can just say, "Oh my goodness, why is the monk so immature, so childish?" It's not because it's part of the training. It's part of the training. It's because he's training us about something about our mind. Okay, I'm not going to go to that because that is another training. Why my teacher likes to do this to scare us, and for some people who are fearful of watching horror movies, he'll make you sit in front of the TV and watch it, and he'll stand there and make sure you watch it. Okay, so that itself is a training to understand the mind. Okay, there are many things that we do here in Kechara, which is pretty exciting and pretty scary at times because why? Because these are things that help us understand our mind better. That's it. It's safe. It's just that we are so dramatic. Some people like watching a movie like this. I have friends who watch the entire horror movie like this, literally. I'm like, what are you doing? Like this. Okay, so so that's about maturity. Okay, so yes, like I said, yes, a person with low EQ and IQ can be mature, but I would not focus on that. All right, the next question. Sharon, interesting question. I'm thinking about the same thing as well, because maturity and wisdom go hand in hand. And to have wisdom, we probably need a certain level of both IQ and EQ, right? Yes, you will need a certain level. You will need a certain level, definitely. Okay, next question. Yiling, does spirituality equate to practicing the teachings of the guru in everyday life? Now, this is specific to your Buddhist practice. Okay, not everyone here is Buddhist, so very quickly, Yiling, I'll explain. Your guru, whatever personal instructions that were given to you were custom made for your spiritual practice, for you to gain wisdom. So it's like going to see a doctor and the doctor prescribes you certain medication or certain lifestyle so that you will be better off. So definitely for you, Yiling, our teacher, whatever instructions were given to you personally, that is your antidote for your happiness and joy and whatever it is that you're looking for in spirituality. Okay? Intentions equals motivation. Yes, intentions equals motivation. Great. Oh, my mom is watching. Hi, mom. Now I'm nervous. My mom is watching me. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, Kirsten. JP, you mentioned that all people are naturally born selfless. I didn't say naturally born selfless, but that the authentic self is selfless in nature. Okay, we always say, what is the nature of our soul, of our mind? What is authenticity about? What are the what are the aspects? How do I know whether or not I'm authentic? So the pure self, the authentic self is selfless. Okay, so but and you read there, but I don't really think so. I think otherwise, because not all are born selfless. Some are, but there are majority not. That's why how the parents, teachers, and guardians teach the children is very important. And we're supposed to cultivate the selflessness in us, right? Now, because when we are born, we are not trained. We are not programmed to operate from the pure self, from the authentic self. We're not. We've been trained to do what? Learn our alphabets, learn the numbers, just train to memorize and memorize and memorize and memorize. There's no training of thought processes, which is why a lot of new training, um, a lot of new educationists are now training children. There are certain schools out there. I forgot the names. These are my friends who are in the academic industry. They tell me that people are now training children to think for themselves. instead of just memorizing, because why? When you just keep memorizing and that's all you do, yeah, you're wonderful, straight A's. But nobody has taught us how to fend for ourselves in the real world. What happens when your goals are not met? What happens when somebody says something that is not agreeable to you? How are you supposed to react? Nobody taught us that. Who teaches us that? We look at our parents. Okay, so when they go through stress, what do? What, we actually look at our parents as a benchmark on how we should live our lives. Are they very loving? Are they very caring? Are our parents always screaming and killing each other? Or are they just complaining to each other? How do they interact? That is programming without even realizing. And that's why my teacher always says, if you want to teach your children certain values, like like being responsible, um, or money does not necessarily equate to happiness and peace and fulfillment. Then you got to show it through action. Okay? Because why? Well, since mom is watching, we've and it's very common. Oh, so when we have our school holiday, my mom was, oh, where do you want to go for vacation? So it's like it's natural. So when you have nothing to do, you go on a vacation. When you have nothing to do, mama's, oh, so what do you want to eat today? Shall we go to this restaurant? Shall we, so, and even on our vacations, they'll be saying, hey, find out what's the best restaurant here. Let's go there. Let's go shopping. Let's go. So it's all about, so our version of happiness, because it brings us joy. We've been programmed to do all these things. Let's go eat the best food. Let's go and indulge and buy this, buy that. Let's go on a vacation and see and all that. That is what we have been trained to think. And to us, that is happiness. That's happiness. So when you see now with this lockdown, a lot of people are miserable because why? We've been wired to think, oh no, I can't go out anymore. I can't go out to my favorite restaurant to eat my favorite food. I can't go out to drink my favorite drink. I can't go out to on a vacation. I'm aching all over. I'm so bored. I'm going cranky. And whatever it is that we are doing, that we're used to doing, that brought us a bit of joy. I said that momentary joy. You've taken that away, and that is why this lockdown is like hell for many people. And why is that? Is because we've been so wired to operate like that. But in actuality, happiness, joy, fulfillment, it's not about what you're doing. It's all here. It's all here. So again, you see, so you're stirring it, 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 and it's supposed to bring you joy. So you're so distracted because you've been programmed that, with all this distraction, it's a version of joy and happiness. That's how we've been programmed. And when we don't have it, we just have a meltdown. So it's not their fault. It's just that we were never taught. So now that we know that, okay, fine. When we do all these things, it's fine. It's not like, oh, it's a sin. Oh, JP says it's bad, so let's not do this. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when you have it, cherish it. You see, it'll be there. When you have it, cherish it. When you just stir it a little bit, yeah, cherish it. But if you don't have it, you can still ground yourself and still have that clarity of your mind and still be as fulfilled and be as peaceful as you would like. All these distractions is just us going out to make you feel a little bit of joy. If there's no joy in doing all this, you won't be doing it, right? Am I right? Yeah, it's because it brings you joy. So you see, so our joy is attached to a certain condition. So without that condition coming up, there's no joy. And that is the issue here. So what is real joy? What is real joy? Real joy is when we operate out of selflessness. Because why? That is the true nature of the self, the true nature. It is not, it is not, you feel joy and fulfillment and happiness without these conditions. You just experience it because you are connecting to your true self. And that's the most natural. That's the most natural. So even if you can sit here, watch me talk, going on and on and on and on, there's a little, you will experience a bit of joy because why? The fact that you want to sit here and listen, it shows that either you're curious with how I talk, or you want to learn to be to find more peace and joy inside of you, regardless of external factors. Now, isn't that wonderful? It doesn't cost you a thing. It just requires you to put in more effort into understanding how the mind works, and then using methods like meditation, go deeper, deeper, and deeper and deeper. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so yes, Kirsten. So coming to you now, you're asking something that yes, certain children are not selfless, correct? Because now this I'm going to explain using what I understand based on karma. If you subscribe to karma, it's because this person this person's soul, or in Buddhism we call the subtle mind, has already been programmed. It's just that you're using a program and you're just putting it into a different body. So the person has already have this kind of a program in their mind. That's how they've been operating from their previous life, and they bring it forward. And that is why certain children, well, for example, they're just terrified of water for some reason, or certain children are terrified of certain objects, and you just cannot explain it. You just cannot. Okay, so it's because of their previous life computation, their previous life. Okay, so they're the way they are, not as selfless, is because of that. It's because of that. Okay, Kirsten? I hope that makes sense. So I'm referring to the authentic self, the authentic self. You can check your own mind. Just do something, like a random person. They may think you're crazy, but just randomly go to a person and do something beneficial for that person. It just can be a thank you, or to your God or whomever it is that you've never acknowledged and appreciated. It can be something as simple as that, and then see how you feel. See how you feel. Is And then you tell me whether it's very natural, you feel fulfilled, and so on and so forth. Because to me, when I do charity, I feel very fulfilled and very joyful. And I'm not always looking out for other things to distract me, entertainment, to to fulfill that lack of the void in me. The void in me. Oh, I'm so bored. No, I'm not bored. There's so many things I can do to study, to learn, to benefit others. But when I study and learn, it's to increase my knowledge so that I can share more and I can um, understand more about life, so that I can share more and shed some light and methods so that other people can benefit it the way I did. Because my teacher benefited me in that way. So I would like to pay it forward as a result. Because regardless of who you are and where you are, people still need that knowledge. Because everyone, even animals, are in pursuit of happiness. That's the common ground. You just check everyone's mind. Everything that we do is because we want to be happy. So we just do it in different forms. Some people find themselves happy being nasty to others because as I said before, because their program is such that they have been going through life suffering a lot because for whatever reasons. And that is their program, that's their comfort zone, that is their world that they are so used to. And everything they do, they create suffering because that's what they're programmed to do. That's what they're not to do, sorry. That's what they're programmed to be used to. They may be receiving a lot of abuse when they were younger, or they're growing out, or when they're growing up. Whatever it is, that to us is, what's wrong with you? Why so evil? Right? We've met some people like that. Well, to me, I'm more empathetic because why? Because when we understand how the mind works, when a person is so when a person inflicts a lot of suffering onto others, it only shows that they are suffering even more, and that is their common, that is what they're used to, that is their world. So how they express it without even realizing is inflicting suffering onto others without realizing. To them is, what's wrong? So the more so we need to show empathy, the more so we need to show empathy to win them over with patience, with our actions. Of course, if they become physically abusive, then that's very dangerous. That's very dangerous. But within your control, if you can, because you have been practicing, you have been studying, you've been practicing, if you feel that you are able to turn the mind around and heal it, turn around and heal it, that is part of your selflessness. So the more we study, the more we practice, the more we will have these tools to help others who need it a lot more than us. More difficult, but it will take a long time, because in order to rewrite the program, the person have to be okay. They have to be comfortable with you to kind of give them suggestions of how to heal themselves. Because a lot of people who are hurting so badly deep down are not open to you even suggesting. Do you notice that? It's very difficult. So we have to put in more effort to show them that when you're in my space, I will make sure that you don't feel that I'm a threat to you. And that takes time to build that kind of credibility, that kind of trust. It takes time. How long? Well, it's case to case. Okay, so any more questions? I think I have gone over my 1 hour. Any more questions?
No.
Ayan, do you have any questions? No? Okay, great. So yeah, so today will be the end of my How Your Mind Works special program. Okay, so what I'll do is this. Now, before I wrap it up, just one thing that I want to go through, because it will lead to the next program that I'm going to do, hopefully by after Chinese New Year. Let's see what the lockdown is going to be like. Okay, if everyone is locked down and we cannot celebrate Chinese New Year, then and you're all bored to tears and you want to learn something, then maybe I will kind of fast forward the program. But otherwise, if everyone is busy, then I will only start after Chinese New Year. Okay, so we'll play by ear. So to wrap it up real quick, is this. See, so these are different aspects of how, or these are the different examples of what taints our perception. Now, if our perception is not necessarily correct, then our experience of our perception is also not necessarily correct. I'll repeat. If our perception is tainted, so it means it's not necessarily correct, then our experience of our perception is also not necessarily correct. Think about it. So if our experience is not necessarily correct, then why do we even react positively or negatively or whatever? And to some people, so dramatic and want to be right about it. And you have to debate. I'm right, you're wrong, I'm right, I'm right. Okay? Contemplate on that. Okay, Cochran? That this is part of contemplation meditation. So contemplate on that. So I want to leave you guys with a few things to contemplate on so that when I do my next session, it'll be a follow-up. Okay? So that'll be a homework. Contemplate on that. Next thing. If we know that our perception is tainted, then why do we hold on to our past experiences? Because now that you know that the majority of our experiences is tainted as well, because our perception is tainted. It's full of bias. Then why do we continue to put our perceptions and experiences into concepts? Into concepts. I'll repeat. Lily is spacing out now. She's like, oh my God, what's that? She leaned backwards. Very quickly. If we now know that our perception is tainted, then why do we hold on to our past experiences? And why do we continue to put our perceptions, to put our perceptions and experiences into concepts? Oh, it's like this, it's like this, it's like this, it's like this, it's like this. You see, we always like to put labels on things. Oh, it's like this, it's like, that's how we've been trained. That's how we've been trained, okay? And I'm going to wrap up soon because the producer is going crazy now because I'm way over time. When we realize that our entire life, okay, hear this, okay? When we now know that our entire experience of our life is tainted. Can you imagine? It's tainted. It's not real. Why do we hold on to these experiences with dear life, especially to the concept of who we are, who we think we are? Ah, that's a big one.
Very profound, JP. Very profound.
Well, you're going to have a few weeks of boredom because you're under lockdown. So there's something for you to contemplate on. Okay? It's very, very exciting. So, repeat. If we know that our perception is of our life, the perception of the entire experience of our life is tainted, why do we hold on to these experiences with dear life, especially with the concept of who we think we are? Oh, I'm JP Thong, so I'm this, 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 this. Really? Something to think about. And to wrap it up, is that exciting? To wrap it up, that this is the other big one. Since you know that everything that you have perceived and experienced is all tainted, okay? Tainted doesn't mean that there's no ounce of truth to it. It's just that you see a little bit of truth, but it's a little bit polluted. Okay? It's a little bit polluted. So instead of going into conclusion and go, aha, this is it. So now that I have kind of shaken your fixed beliefs, your mind is going to be more open up. Maybe there's more to it. maybe there's more to it. Okay, maybe, well, now that I know that, because I lack the knowledge, because I'm looking through the lens of my past experience and all that, it's tainted. So instead of holding on and not being to let go, contemplate. If it's all tainted, what's your big hang up now? Okay, so in other words, when you meditate, or when you just sit back and relax, you can watch your life as though you're watching a movie. Okay, you're in this body, it's a vessel, and whatever that you are perceiving through your five senses, or for some of you through your sixth sense, it's all part of the movie that you're in. Okay, it's part of a movie. So a lot of times we believe that we are the main actor or main actress in the movie, and it's so dramatic. Oh, I'm gonna have a meltdown. You're gonna like win an Oscar for that, because you're so caught up in your own belief, your own experience, without realizing that it has always been tainted, because from the beginning, because you were not trained. You are not programmed from day one to perceive reality. This is the big one, Kok Lian. That one is you can meditate on that for the next few weeks. Okay? So if everything that you have experienced is so tainted, why am I still holding on to it? No matter how nasty and how bad it was. See, but that is your experience. And now I'm telling you, it's tainted. Make sense? So contemplate on that. So the key here is this: to watch your life like it's a movie. You are the director. You can do whatever you want. That liberates you. How? You tell me. So contemplate on it, and you share with me when we meet again. Is that exciting?
Yes.
Okay, great. So thank you very much.
Thank
Yes.
you.
It's an exciting time ahead. We start a new life as of today.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Wait till you share this with your husband, Lily. He's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?"
He's in the
I said,
other
like,
class.
is the other class?
He's in the other class, the DS class. So I said, okay, I'll join this class more.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ion. You want to say that? Okay, great. So, all right. So I'm going to leave you with these things to ponder over. I think it'll be good to go through it and just think about it. No right, no wrong. We're all answers are just going to surface differently for all of you. Okay, so we'll touch base again, and then we'll do another sharing session. So take care, and have for those of you who celebrate Chinese New Year, have a good Chinese New Year, a blessed one. Everybody stay safe. Please do that. Okay, wherever you are in the world, stay safe, and yeah, practice your distance and all that. Okay, and be kind, be good, and you can replay this video again, up to you. Okay, so, and of course, do what do you call it? Do share with your friends on Facebook what you've just watched, because you never know who out there is going to benefit from this talk. Okay, and before I say goodbye, I need to acknowledge and thank our sponsors for tonight's program. Just give me a sec. Okay, today's sponsor, the first sponsor is Anonymous, dedicated towards all beings' liberation from suffering and attainment of compassion, wisdom, and true happiness. And the second sponsor is Kok Luen and family. Thank you, Kok Luen. The dedications: may all participants have inner peace. Thank you very much, and good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.